And maybe this was my foolishness, but I really thought that the Stardust support was done. Quasar was just, but that was years ago. They decided to make Stardust Sifr Spark Dragon. Has the same requirements, and I believe it's the same stats as shooting Quasar. It must be synchro summon. It can't be special summon but other ways. Effect number 1. Each card you control cannot be destroyed by battle or effect once a turn. I know it's supposed to somewhat inherit Stardust Spark Dragon's effect. This shit is free, and depending on how many cards you have on the field, it just gets even better. If you're summoning this thing, are you going to have a whole lot of cards on the field afterwards? Assuming that you're playing some type of synchro-related thing and you draw a whole bunch of cards off a library and before you eventually go into this fucker, are those cards that you draw something that you can set? Your opponent don't know what them shits are anyway, and they got to use 2 effects on those set cards, and if there's a monster outside of this, probably isn't though. That's protected as well, and it protects itself, like Stardust Spark Dragon. Effect number 2. Once per turn during either player's turn, when an opponent's monster effect is activated, you can negate that effect, and if you do, destroy 1 card on the field. That's an interesting one. It's usually either negate an effect and don't destroy it, or negate the effect and destroy that card. But I can negate this monster effect and blow that up. What monster would even be a threat to this thing if it stays out? Just going to be sitting there. Just going to be looking up. Effect 3. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target 1 level weight or lower Stardust monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Since it doesn't say ignoring its summoning conditions, you have to properly summon that fucker. You can't bring this back. Thank God! Now, this has the same requirement as shooting Quasar Dragon. Are you going to be summoning another Stardust Synchro before summoning this? And are you going to be using that Stardust Synchro for Synchro material for this? It all depends. The easiest way to summon Quasar is Formula Hyper Librarian because you want to draw some cards and shit, and then another level 5. This kind of sort of punishes you for doing it that way. I'm not saying that you can't do Formula and Stardust, and I'm pretty sure there's some level 2 Synchro out there. But it's definitely an interesting dynamic between Quasar and this. It's actually not even better and or worse than Quasar. Surprise! I think in most situations, Quasar is still better. Because what does it do? It negates an effect, period, and destroys it. It attacks for how many non-tuner synchros you use for the synchro summon. So usually it's attacking twice, which is 8,000. And then when it leaves the field, you can just summon a shooting star dragon from the extra deck. I guess you could play one of each. So on that note, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. I appreciate it. If you would like to support me in some form or fashion, all I ask is you spend literally seconds out your day and click an advertisement. I'll be grateful, appreciative, and I'll say thank you very much in advance if you can find some time to do that. They must really like Stardust or something. It's been how long since Quasar came out? And they're still making this shit? What the fuck? If these cards had a standoff, this would obviously win because each card you control can't be destroyed by battle and effect. Quasar attacks, like so. And that motherfucker die, bring back fucking shooting star, but then see if the spark drag just be looking like, you know you're about to die too, right? Get wrecked!